Commercial real estate is in massive trouble. Hey everybody, Scott Walters, welcome to the channel. If you're new, I want to thank you for coming. If you're returning, I want to thank you for your continued support. Before we get into today's red hot topic, I'm going to politely ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Please watch to the end for my final thought and hit the bell icon so you're notified when new videos are released. It's very important to stay close to the channel in these very, very tricky times. All right, folks, welcome to the channel. It's always an honor and a privilege to be with you. I hope you're all doing great. Buckle up and strap in. I got a hard-hitting pull, no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows and sunshine. I'm just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. And folks, we have a massive issue going on right outside our back door. Today, we're going to take a look at some local commercial real estate. And we're not talking a kiosk down at the mall, friends, that's closed. We are talking massive buildings in massive trouble. And as a commercial real estate owner myself, a commercial landlord, I know in the last recession, in the last downturn, I had missing months rent, and that was painful. I had to drop rates, entice people to come in. I had to watch my tenants, the current tenants that I had, fold up and leave. And these people that we're going to look at today, they weren't a couple months of missing rent. They were a couple years of missing rent. Listen, friends, this is insane what we have to talk about. Retail was already in massive trouble pre-pandemic. Before the pandemic, online e-commerce had already pretty much taken a massive bite out of retail. Well, the pandemic, this whole remote working, took a massive bite out of office space. It killed it. It's dead. And even though some people are going back to work, many companies can't afford to go lease high dollar real estate places in the most euphoric Southern California market ever produced in history. This stuff is sitting empty because if you own this real estate, you can't, I always say, you're better off giving. The kiss of death in commercial real estate is empty units. And if you can afford to give somebody a deal and get them in there and let them perform and get them up to market values, and we see a lot of that happening with the people that can afford to do that. They're trying to get creative and place businesses, these pop-up shops. But these are the massive office buildings. And listen, friends, this is going to have massive blowback. I'm going to cut through the chatter and the chase. So if you're new, please subscribe. Subscribe right away. There's never been a more important time in history to get ahead of the curve. Our rewards in life, direct proportion to our contribution. You can contribute simply by giving this video a like and supporting this work. What's going to happen? This is the precursor of a recession. When you see empty commercial spaces, and they're not coming back. When we saw the lockdowns and people folding up like crazy, that was even if a lot of these places had free rent. A lot of these places, if they owned the building they operated in, had mortgage forbearance. They still couldn't make it even with free rent. And that's what we're seeing out there. And listen, high-level real estate companies trying to get these places rented is no fault of the brokerage. This is all economic blowback from a super bubble, an artificially created bubble. So to drive our point home today, we're going to take the camera outside, take a look at just what's outside my back door and here in Southern California, and one of the most successful, richest places to live in the world can't make it. So if we can't make it, nobody's going to be able to make it. That much I can pretty much guarantee you. Let's go ahead and take the camera on out, then we'll meet right back here and wrap this one up. All right, friends, let's get started right here in euphoric California. And if you guys want to know what 2008 was like, here you go. This is basically euphoric recall for me. I remember back in 2008, massive commercial issues with businesses. It's just what happens in a recession. You're going to see a lot of businesses not only fold up, but not come back. And the scary part about this one, most of these buildings have been closed for years. We're not talking a few months, years, and they're not probably going to get rented out anytime soon. And like I said, this is no fault of the real estate industry or the brokerage that's trying to help these owners get rented. This is purely the fault of our federal government and the economic blowback from the overstimulation of an economy, the artificial growth. It put it into a chokehold, and now we're seeing the blowback. And the realities are, friends, these are big commercial places that were once full of businesses that were thriving, but they've been completely stifled. And it's really kind of unfair that this has happened to these businesses. They did not deserve this. They are getting the complete rug pull. So the bigger challenge is this is going to have blowback. This is the front end of a recession, the tail end of a pandemic, a global lockdown, and the front end of a recession. And this is what the blowback is going to look like. And my friends, it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. This is a very euphoric, rich city full of wealth. And if these businesses can't make it, I know many others aren't as well. This is just heat mapping and temperature checking what's going on. And believe me, friends, some of these businesses are going to not even be able to afford to have their maintenance crews, gardeners, keep them up anymore. They are eventually going to go potentially bank owned, and they are just going to sit there going for pennies on the dollar. That's what happens when you overheat an economy and get into the front end of a recession. It is very startling. It is very staggering. And I guess for me, because I work in real estate, it continues to just baffle me. And this is what eventually all those buildings are going to look like if they don't get sold. There you go. A sneak peek of just a little Sunday drive for me. And I'm in real estate, and so of course every time I see a sign, I'm like, oh my God, do I know those people? What's going on there? And the reality is, friends, it's just the natural progression of a recession. We're going to see commercial get hit first, residential second. I know residential is very polarizing right now because of the FOMO that was created in the euphoric housing boom that was artificially created, making real estate agents essential workers, dropping interest rates, and then the lack of supply because of people locked down made it very, very, very euphoric. And that was unorganic growth. That was artificial growth, and the government kicked the can way too far down the road. It should have been stopped immediately. We'll get out of the problem and in the solution, but before we can do that, we always have to admit there's a problem. That was a massive problem. The second step of getting past it is accept the problem. That way you can move away from it and start to get into the solution, away from the problem, in the solution. And that is my goal with you guys. First thing I have to do is make you understand what's going on out there. This was an artificially created super bubble, the biggest bubble and everything bubble in world history. There was not one piece of organic growth that contributed to this. This was market manipulation in its purest form. And this, what I showed you today, is absolute blowback. That blowback is going to continue to come. I've reported by this summer, you'll see a flood of inventory hit these markets. Now we're seeing days on market, price reductions, everything pointing towards a reverse course. We hit the top. We hit the top of a super bubble, the biggest bubble ever recorded in history. Now it's reversing course. You won't time the bottom. We can time the top. You've hit that. I think you should be able to see that now, because when you see prices start to decline and buyer demand be just ice water thrown on it from the federal government, now it's doing the ultimate rug pull. And listen, friends, there are so many things rhyming with the last recession. This one, though, might make the last recession look like a warm-up. This could be depressionary level. My advice, and I never suggest anybody to do anything that I'm not doing myself, is to get ahead of the curve, forward-thinking, iron sharpens iron. Stay with like-minded people. Hope for the best, expect the worst. So hopefully you come out somewhere in the middle. Like I said, only a prepared mind will see opportunity. And like I've always told you, as a trained salesman, I know this comes down to the psychology of sales, the psychology of people. In final thoughts today, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator, somebody who wants to see you not only win in real estate, win in life. Understanding buying in the height of the biggest super bubble ever artificially produced in world history might provide a little blowback. Buying outside the bubble for potentially pennies on the dollar could make you a millionaire. 95% of all millionaires did make their money in real estate, but it wasn't buying at the height of a bubble. It was buying outside the bubble. This is going to be really hard, because when the reverse FOMO and fear and panic sets in, you're going to be tempted to jump in with that crew. I need to keep you over here with this crew so we can have a serious conversation on what it's going to take to minimize risk going back into these markets, not going all in, but getting a piece of the action too. If you appreciate the content, I do want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Social media links are in the description of this video if you'd like to contact me there, along with links to channels I've appeared on I think you might enjoy. If you're interested in buying or selling real estate here in America, there's an email in the description for you as well. I have a network of top-rated agents in the world ready to assist you. If you enjoyed this video and other videos in your screen at this time, I think you'd love, along with an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, please go make it count today. I'll see you on the next video.